first, man. I'll go first, man. I'm always first, man. You don't know what time it is. It's like,
There you go.
no.
There you go. All right, what position you want to go, shoot?
He already said
Say that
second.
go second.
All right, let's do it. I got the last. So since Big on first, let me get the five.
Huh?
All right. You said you get the 5,
Wait, so what's the numbers?
4, 4, 5.
Uh, alright. Let's turn this game volume down. Alright, alright, alright.
Oops.
So we are on Yeshayaha. Yah. Isaiah 6. In the year that sovereign Uzziyahu died, I saw him sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the heckle. Above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one cried to another and said, Set apart, set apart, set apart is Yahweh of hosts. All the earth is filled with his esteem. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke.
Then I said, Woe to me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the sovereign, Yahweh of hosts. And one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal which he had taken from the tongues of the slaughter place, from the slaughter place. And he touched my mouth with it, and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your crookedness is taken away, and your sin is covered. And I have heard the voice of Yahweh saying, Whom do I send, and who do I go for us? And I said, Here, here am I. Send me.
And he said, Go, and you shall say to this people, Hearing you hear, but do not understand, and seeing you see, but do not know. Make the heart of this people fat and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, and lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and shall turn to be healed. Then I said, Yahweh, until when? And he answered, Until the cities are laid waste without inhabitants, and houses are without a man, and the land is laid waste, a ruin. And Yahweh has removed men far away, and has forsaken the place, be many in the midst of the land. But still, there's a tenth part in the, and it shall be for burning, like a cherubim tree, like an oak, whose stumps remains when it's cut down. The set apart seed is stump. All right, big
Yeah,
talk to us, man. What you get from this, sir?
I'm gonna say. I just feel like they're connecting with Yahweh right now.
Dope. Shoot.
Uh, Currently don't know who's speaking right now, but he said how he saw Yahweh, and then he confessed that he was unclean. And then one of the seraphim, I can't say it, came and like took his crookedness away. Like pretty much one of the messengers of Yahweh heard that or heard his confession and then went and took it away from him. Uh, Still sucking it in for the most part.
No worries, no worries, and that's good. You guys are making stab at it. Remember, this is a history book too, right? So mind you, in this time period, right, the the two nations, the two tribes split. There's Judah, right, and there's Israel, or what they would call Joseph's, Joseph's group, or Ephraim's, in the north, right. These guys are slowly, and I mean, we read it. They have slowly deteriorated any relationship they had with the Most High. There was a few that was the stump that was hold because the tree was cut off. This meaning that it was cut, the connection was cut off. These people did not like they were where we at, where some of us are at now. They didn't know the Most High. It was like, wait, this is my great 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 grandfather's religion or something like that. I'm like, I'm following Pan or Zeus or whatever is the, not Dagon, but whatever is the other countries, other, you know, world's nations, city gods or nation gods. Then you can't tell them no different from what they were doing in Babylon or Syria. Putting kids through fire. They were doing the same thing, right? So, like for instance, like we're doing the same thing. Like, God, with all due respect, like even when you have an abortion, it's like throwing your kids in Molech, or you know what I'm saying? Because what they do to the kid, or that's still a fetus, that's still a body. Right? Even though you be, hey, we're gonna kill Varley, we're gonna kill North. I still existed at one point, right? Hey, we're gonna need to make room. We gotta get rid of it. So it's
Mm.
like that's something that we shouldn't do because our children should be like seeds. Not something that you think that you can. And your children is your career. You shouldn't be like, yeah, I'm gonna put my career first. What are you talking about? Your family's your career. Your relationship with your Most High is your career. So we're doing, not to say us, but in general, we're doing the same things. We don't have an identity with the Most High. Now, you could look up and see our people in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And I say melanated people, or some of us that are of the tribes of the 12 nations, which we're doing the same thing that LGBT. The first people that join LGBT would be like black people, so-called black people, right? Like we're doing what they were doing, but this is something that we've always been doing. LGBT is not new. It's just that they present it as a new science, or they present it as a new thing. So
Mm.
this is where we're at. Like it's like you guys, you were leading, you had it, you guys ruined it. But for the stump, the few, this tree's cut off. That stump, that's where Yahshua is gonna come. So the promise is already made to the south. That's Judah, the kingdom of Yehuda, right? And in the north, right, these guys are gone. These guys eventually becomes the Gentiles. What I'm
Mm.
studying. So now that lets you know that they were never talking about everybody in the world. It was never that. It's like imagine shoot, or let's imagine guys, Uncle Greg, has his camp, or Uncle Marvin, better yet, Uncle Marvin has his camp of children that just grow differently from us, right? Like he just took them apart, took them away. They're not going to be. If we had a culture, right? Because right now we're creating one, us three. There's nowhere in our family where you can find three guys that fellowship together, but us. So the Most High gave us a responsibility to keep our blood, to keep them cool. But there's some of them in our own blood, people that we can see, that's just walking away from it
Mm.
and doing things that he don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if you just try to experiment. Like if you know what you're doing and you're doing, you're sinning. If you don't know, you don't. It's a law. Remember, you're just breaking the law. It's transgression of the law. O'Shea shared it with us. Abraham had it. Noah had it. These were things that they just kept to themselves, just like us three having this. But we're different. We invite our friends. But their covenant was something that was it Big that said it? I think it was Big that exposed it. He was like, look, Abraham already had a covenant. There was already a promise. There was already laws. There was already
Mm.
rules that he had to follow as a soldier of both sides in order to get the pearl of salvation, to get that knowledge. You're different once you have the knowledge. You're a different person once you know who you are. You transform. We talking about your new name. you would recognize your whole new name.
Yeah, you only can evolve, not devolve.
So now when we talk about going into Yesahaya, Yesahaya 6, when they talk about the second verse, these seraphims are these angels, all right? But the seraphims are like a higher level of it, right? They're talking about like people, like how we have higher levels of police. Like there's community, there's like a security guard, right? Then there's like a mall cop, with a little bit more authority. Then there's I'm saying. Then there's like FBI. There's different levels of policing, right? All the way up to Army, Navy, and all that great stuff. There's different levels of angelic beings, or what we would call, because to us it's all one thing. Like we're all humans, right? But there's different human beings, right? There's Asians of the Asian, you know what I mean? There's Semitic, and then there's different bloodlines. So these seraphim is probably on the same par, if not lower at this point, or stronger, because they say one of the Michael's a representative. Saint Michael's a representative of the angel Archangel Michael, or Gabriel is one of those first four or the first three. But they have a group that's just far stronger, or just closer, I should say, because it's not about you having your own personal power. It's just closer to the Most High. They're the four that guard the Most High. They got like six wings. Everybody described them the same way, but they, at some point, they can have four heads because they can merge, right? That's what I'm saying. But in some, when you read it, in certain, they're like one, or maybe they're moving so fast. Shoot, you probably understand this more. Remember when we used to watch The Flash, and he would do the little shake thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
he could do shake through your body with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they were moving so fast that they were all four there standing there, but the way they was moving, you could see all four of them at once, right? So that's what, when one of them came to them. I don't know which one, because remember, there's the one that has the man's face of a man. There's one that has the face of an eagle or a hawk. There's one that has the face of an ox, right? And there's one that has the face of a lion. And these are the one that every time we talk about the Most High, it's the same thing. He's sitting on his throne, emerald glass floor that looks like water, which is, I think, is a great idea. It's beautiful. He has the 24 elders surrounding him, just like how they built the church, just like the call of the Most High, the house of the Most High, the castle of the Most High, if you will, right? So the seraphim is, if you're seeing a seraphim, know that you're in the holiest of the holiest,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the room. You see what I'm saying? Like that's his personal room, or his throne room. All right, slide on to them seven. You got 25 of those things, big. That's for you. So everybody will get 12. Wait, no, no. Everybody, two people get 12. One person get 13. So
You
you got
wanna
that 13, right, big?
Yeah, if you're
wait.
scared of it.
No, 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 no. My math is wrong. Don't hit me. I'm sorry. Two people, listen, two people get 8. One person get 9. Where am I going with this?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll do the most if you're scared of it.
Never scared. Always willing to share. I got the most out of my side.
And it came to be in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, sovereign of Yehuda, that Retzin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliahu, sovereign of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to fight against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was reported to the house of Dawid, saying, Aram has set up camp in Ephraim. And his heart and the heart of his people were moved as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. And Yahweh said to Yeshayahu, Go out now to meet Ahaz, you and Sherayashub, your son, at the end of the channel of the upper pool on the highway of Launderer's Field, and say to him, take heed and be calm. Do not fear or be faint hearted. For these two stubs of smoking firebrands for the fierce displeasure of Retzin and Aram, and the son of Remaliahu, because Aram, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliahu have plotted evil against you, saying, let us go up against Yehuda, and tear it apart, and break it open for ourselves, and set a sovereign over them, the son of Tabil. Thus send the Master Yahweh, it is not going to stand, nor shall it take place. For the head of Aram is Damasek, and the head of Damasek is Retzin. And within 65 years, Ephraim is to be broken as a people. And the head of Ephraim is Shamaron, and the head of Shamaron is the son of Remaliahu. If you do not believe, you are not steadfast.
And Yahweh spoke again to Ahaz, saying, ask a sign for yourself from Yahweh, your Elohim. Make it deep, voice crack. Make it deep, the request, or make it high. But Ahaz said, I do not ask nor try, Yahweh. And he said, hear me now, O house of David. Is it not enough that you weary men, that you weary my Elohim also? Therefore Yahweh gave himself, therefore Yahweh himself gives you a sign. Look, the Alma conceives and gives birth to a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Emmanuel. He eats curds and honey when he knows to refuse evil and choose the good. For before the child knows to refuse evil and choose the good, the land that you dread is to be forsaken by both your sovereigns. Yahweh brings on you and your people and your father's house days that have not come since the day that Ephraim turned away from Yehuda, the sovereign of Asher.
And it shall be in that day that Yahweh whistled for the flies that is in the farthest part of the rivers of Mizraim, and for the bees that's in the land of Ashur. And they shall come, and all of them shall rest in steep ravines, and in the cliffs of the rocks, and on the weeds in all the pastures. And in that day Yahweh shall save with a razor higher beyond the river, the sovereign of Ashur, and the head of the land, no, and the head of the hairs of the legs, and also remove the beard. And it shall be in that day that a man keeps alive a young cow and two sheep. And it shall be that he shall eat curd because of plenty milk he gets. For everyone left in the land shall eat curds. And it shall be in that day, at a place where there were thousands of fine worth of 1,000 shekels of silver, let it be for thorn bush and weeds. With arrows and bows one shall go there, because all the land shall be thorn bushes and weed. To all the hills which were tilted with the hoe, you do not go for fear of the thorn bush and weeds. But that shall be for sending ox and send ox to, and a place for sheep to roam. All right. I know this probably went over you guys' head because for me to get it, what I just read, what we all just read, it took time. So I'm not going to pressure you guys to say anything but what you feel came out of this. And then we'll just talk about that.
Emmanuel is the key. That's what I got.
Facts. Got facts. Shoot.
That's what I was gonna say. Say no.
So going back to that verse, guys, you hit it right on the nose, right? We've been getting the prophecy for the longest because it's all been written out like a scroll to the Most High. He already sees that. All right. We're looking at right now. He's calling out right now. the separation from Ephraim. Remember, that's Joseph's tribe. Remember the 10. Joseph was the strongest out of 10. His tribe. Ephraim was the one that received the blessing. Ephraim is the Gentiles. So this they were telling you what was going to happen before it happened. If you can hear it, that's why I said if you can hear it, you'll hear it. You see it, you'll see it. If you know, right? They even tried. Look at this. They even tried to war against Ephraim. It's like, yo, you got our name. You're one of us, but you're acting like one of them. You don't even know who you are. So
Mm.
these all this Gentile talk that we're talking about is Joseph's tribe. It's just dumb. You, you understand? We're not saying, hey, we're coming back to get everybody. Now I came to get the Gentiles because they're us. I came to get back Uncle Fred. I came to get back Uncle Marvin. These us. They just lost. Now you're Israel. Israel, you're something different, right? You're transforming. Like you are, you are my first. Look what you're doing.
Mm.
And when they talk about Iran, these are countries. You know what I'm saying? These are nations. These are people that they could track back to history. That's why they don't even talk about the Bible's not real no more. You could track these people back. You could what they're talking about right now. They don't want to admit it, but they tracked it. They'll gloss over it. Yeah, during the conquest of Israel, yeah, you can talk about that. You can gloss over it, but it really happened. Now, to what
Mm.
extent, we only know because of what they wrote, but this is how much they try to hide who we are. We had the presence of mind. The Most High gave some of us the presence of mind to write down because they were going to lie about it anyway. We're in
Mm.
a time machine. Like what you talk about, so we're in a time machine. And we had some real honest people just write down what was going on. That's why this has to have the Most High in it. You can't just be. It just even if they try to whitewash it, he's still in there.
Mm.
When you hear, with all due respect, I'm not. It's not. You see me, guys. You see me grow, especially you, big. You see me grow past this whole racism, BS knowledge thought that I can even act like I know, right? But when you hear Caucasian people try to talk about it, it's almost, and you can once you get to that level and you can hear, it's almost like it's your, it's someone you knew that been to your house once and fell in love with it, but they just don't understand the full dynamics between mom, pop, brother and sister, but they just fell in love with it and they took it over.
Mm.
What's your house? You say your temple. Let's start with just that. They want to be you. They want to
Mm.
comment on you, your athleticism, your poeticism, your ability to, your mechanics, even how you absorb poisons or how you absorb fruits and vegetables. It's just something remarkable to them. Like this thing with pandemics and stuff. There's people actually trying to figure out how to kill Superman. But the
Mm.
craziest thing is you don't need to figure out how to kill Superman because you can. If Superman have an ego, you can have him kill himself. If Superman is easily led by other people, Superman go whoring after other gods, yeah, he can just kill himself, cut himself off from his superpower.
Mm.
So understand that. Like, remind you, you have guys have yet to read outside of when they're talking about the spiritual realm here. You have yet to read some outposts in Mars, right? They was on the moon trying to fight to get in. Everything is happening on this plane of existence. That's why this middle earth, middle ground, whatever you want to call it, That's why this is the main event. When
Mm.
you start reading Solomon, right? The books of Solomon or the Legends of the Jews, you start to tap into Solomon could talk to because of his ring, because the symbol the Most High gave him, that insignia, right? He could talk to the animals, even certain levels of angelic, well, all level of angelic beings. And he was more interested in controlling the ghouls, the demons. You know what I'm saying? There was different levels of them. Just like how we play Halo big, and there's different levels of what do you call it? Covenant.
Covenant.
Right, right. You see how they playing with scripture, and then we just sit there like we don't know because they got a version of it. They got their version of it where they just focus on the spiritual aspect of it, the control of it.
Yeah, I've been noticing that Halo been sounding like a whole biblical story. And I was just like the deeper you get into the lore, it's just like, damn, this is definitely the Bible.
The
Right.
lore.
So it's of them. They take from him to replicate him, counterfeit of him, to attempt to build a throne higher than him. This is what it's all about. How do we embarrass that? How do we embarrass the Most High? Oh, we get the children. When see our fathers, y'all gonna see some like y'all gonna wish and pray for a well-behaved child. Because one of the biggest embarrassments your kid to do is act up in front of other people. One of the biggest embarrassments your woman could do, let's not even go to children, is to act up in front of people. Like, what are you doing? And switch sides on you and ride with other people.
Mm.
So it's crazy when you know, but we still doing it. You could you can know. I don't want this to happen to any of you, but it's life. It's you can know your girl. You can know your girl is cheating or doing something she's not supposed to do, but then you still feel a certain way. The Most High, and I'm not saying he's the girl in this, but the Most High can already see what we're gonna go through because he ripped this whole thing out. And he, even Yahshua would say, that's why they talk about Emmanuel. They had to hide the name because Yahshua has several names. You have to hide it. You have not even hide it. I'm sorry, that's not a word. You have to embed it, the algorithm. So even they can't stop it. They don't know when it's coming. They're gonna try to do it now, get ahead of it, but it's gonna come the Most High's time. That's why our service is like, yo, His will, in His will. Because some of us, even some of us servants, can be like, man, I want to do His work so bad that I just crushed and killed, or I saw the devil in my kid and I killed my kid. Like, wait, what? You can exercise those demons out. What are you talking about? That wasn't the Most High told you kill your kid.
Yeah.
Right? Some of us can get like we can attempt to do things on our own. Like for instance, I came to y'all. I was like, and I'm not saying y'all the Most High, but I'm just saying how I came to y'all. Like, look, guys, help. I don't know what I'm doing. But some of us were like, man, I don't want them to know that I don't know that I don't know that he don't know. Like, and now we're sinning, we're transgressing laws because of pride. Like we don't. Ooh,
Mm.
That's why the truth will set you free.
it's such a fact. Gird yourself in truth. Gird yourself, like root yourself. Root yourself.
Yeah, I don't
All
even
right.
be talking if I have to lie.
Facts. Facts.
I
And
just be
that's
like,
yo
you
big.
gotta find out yourself.
That's you inside. Now imagine this outward. That's you fighting your own internal demons. You're still battling it, but then there's an outward, right? There's inner and there's like when I say outward, meaning like us conspiring together to tell people stories or lie to people, right? That's the outward. Come together, like, hey, you know what? We're gonna do this. That's outward.
Hmm. True.
Mm.
All right, moving on to Yay Yeshayu 8, 8 chapter. We got 22 of these things, right? So each person will have seven. Two people have seven. One person will have eight.
Sure. Yes, sir.
All right. And Yahweh said to me, take a large tablet and write on it with a man's pen concerning Maher Shalal Hashbaz. And let me take reliable witness to record Uriah, the priest of Zechariah, son of Yeberechiah. And I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. And Yahweh said to me, call his name Maher Shalal Hashbaz. For before the child knows to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damasek and the spoil of Shamaron is taken away before the sovereign of Asher. And Yahweh spoke to me again, saying, inasmuch as these people refuse the waters of Shiloah, the flow softly, and rejoice in Retzin, and in Remaliah's son. Now therefore, see, Yahweh brings up over them the waters of the river, strong and mighty, the sovereign of Asher and all his esteem. And he shall come up over all his channels, and go over all his banks. And he shall pass through Yehuda. He shall overflow and pass over, reaching up to the neck, and the stretching out of his wings shall fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel.
Be shattered, O ye peoples, and be broken in pieces. Give ear, all ye from the far places of the earth. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Take counsel, and it comes to naught. Speak a word, and it does not stand. For El is with us. For Yahweh spoke thus to me with a strong hand, witchcraft, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, nor be troubled. Yahweh of hosts, him you shall set apart. Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. He shall be for a set apart place, but a stone of stumbling, and a rock that makes for falling to both the houses of Israel, as a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, dang, and be broken, snared, and taken.
Bind up the witness, seal the Torah amongst my taught ones, and I shall wait on Yahweh, who hides his face from the house of Jacob, and I shall look for him. Look, I and the children who Yahweh has given me for signs and wonders in Israel from Yahweh of hosts, who dwells in Mount Zion. And when they say to you, seek those who are mediums and wizards and whisperers and mutters, should not a people seek the Elohim? Should they seek the dead on behalf of the living? To the Torah, to the witness, if they do not speak according to his word, it is because they have no daybreak. Mm, I mean, okay. And they shall pass through it hard pressed and hungry. And it shall be when they are hungry that they shall be wroth and cursed with their sovereign and their Elohim word. And they shall look in the earth and see the distress and darkness, glooms of hard times, and be driven into the thick darkness. So once again, I know this is a lot of points because you guys are learning precepts, meaning what are the things that are coming about? Like you say sometimes, okay, these things look like you see it again, but no, they're precepts. That's like giving you understanding. They're giving you understanding what's going on. Like that's why perception is a word. right? They're like rules almost. They're like guidelines, right? They're like statutes, right? Rules, laws. You understand? Like, so these precepts, right, are set already. So when you're talking about Torah, right, that was the book of the time. Like, this is the law. When you're talking about like child, like of this nation, your children, you're letting the master control you when you should be in control. You letting Assure control you where you should be in control.
Mm.
So when he's talking about this, he's talking about a nation, a group of people that's lost. When he talks about even daybreak, I looked that up, right? It's really they have no light. The light is gone. Remember about light and darkness? It's gone, y'all. You don't have the knowledge. The milk, right, is the knowledge. You're lost. You don't have no understanding who you God is. And guess what? You shall be cut off from your superpower. Even the land you're in is going to be desolated. It's coming. You're going to be in darkness, meaning that you won't be able to see. Thick darkness. You'll be confused. Your woman will be equal to you, right? Equal rights. She'll have more power than you. Black girl magic. Your
Mm.
children will be running wild. You will have no understanding of how to keep these things controlled in the eyes of the Most High. You'll lose how to be the head. You'll lose how to be the king. You'll lose how to be a priestly king. You'll forget that. Only for those remnant, though, because they're the ones that's going to keep us going. We're getting there, but even us doing this will keep certain blessings on our not only our combined, meaning like us together and our immediate. Like when you guys start, when you little sheep start creating little sheeps, when you transform into the shepherds that you are.
Hello?
So the Most High's word is the knowledge, because mind you, it's the sword. Fight with. You can protect yourself with the shield, but the sword is His word.
Mm.
All right, on to the next gentleman. Wait. I'm sorry, I was selfish. So sorry. What did you pick up, big? Just picking up, like, because now we got now I gotta jump in because I see I'm starting to see it, but I need to understand where you guys are at too
I mean, I
simultaneously.
just know that they're building up Emmanuel right now.
Hmm. And guess what Emmanuel is? The child. It's us, because mind you, we coming, mind you, remember guys, you come as a nation. So now you can start to understand when Yahshua is like coming in my blood. When
Mm.
Emmanuel is saying this, because he's walking with the Most High. And it's an energy, it's a bloodline, it's protection. That's why I was like, okay, the shield, I'm looking it up, is faith. You gotta have, that's what's going to block you from those arrows. All right, shoot. What you get for
Uh, Sound like Emmanuel was like, yeah, so, Yahweh gave me a spoiler alert for you guys' future,
that?
and you're all gonna die. Have fun.
He said, all right. He said, bye bye, everybody.
I have been told that I've been hanging out with the wrong crowd. I'm out of here.
wrong, wrong crowd. I'm out of here. But you are Emmanuel. All jokes aside, you're
Mm.
tapping into the blood. You will connect with him even when you don't know you're doing it. What do you think the patients, you guys gave? I'm sitting there fumbling. I'm like, man, the guys forgive. I'm saying forgive me in my heart, man. I feel so dumb. But then I'm also, that's the dark side, right? The light is like, look, thank you. Your boys are being patient. They're guiding you through. We will get through this.
Mm.
But the dark side is confusion. Like, man, man, I'm blocking it. I'm the worst. Man, I should be over there. Man, we should be doing the Bible study together. Man, that you can spiral into darkness.
Yeah.
And Uncle Jones used a word one time. He said, I say mine, but he says, America has stress. It's like a stress. And I was like, that's the best that better word. People understand that. It stresses you. I know what it is. It's a demonic possession. But for you to understand it, you gotta understand what stress means. Not say you guys, but for the regular person. Big, I swear to you, you'll be in a position, right, to where you personally will be able to cast out demons in people,
Huh?
change people's mindset. You'll get there.
You said pass out?
Cast, meaning take away from.
I was like, how am I gonna be passing out demons like Uno cards?
It's so crazy. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's what like that's why Yeshua was like, guys, y'all gotta stop thinking you're doing this. Like basically, like this is
Yeah,
by way of the will
facts.
of the Most High. Like you gotta understand that's the knowledge. Once you got the knowledge, then it's easier.
Knowledge
Notice
is power.
the more you guys are getting in scripture, you'll start to pay attention. The things that you used to do, you won't do it because you're knowledgeable of it. Let me give you a
Fact.
case in point, right? I ate egg. I ate an egg the other day. A shorty cooked it for me, and I was, be spent. Inside it was like, that's still a chicken, right? I was like, yeah, I know. It was like, I'm gonna let you do it this time because you were hungry, but don't do it again. It's like, yes, sir, I won't. I'm talking to my inner being, inner Emmanuel, inner angel, those seraphims that's in us, those children of the Most High. And then the closer we are, those are our seraphims.
I always thought
You know
that
what I'm
was
saying?
Yeshua.
The seraphim.
Yeah, inside you.
If if you're connected with the blood, you're right, big. You're not wrong. But and then there's no buts. I'm learning that with this kind of world, all of that could be right because
Yeah,
you're looking at it from perspectives, right? But the most right is the will of the Most High, the vision of the Most High. Tap into that, you see it all. Every every being that's closest to him, and I don't want to use the word power again, like it's something that they want to do for themselves, are just more in the light than other creatures. If that makes sense. More of the know. They're sharing the information, but they don't have all of it.
set apart.
The Most High, right? The Most High is the only one with all of it because you can have another rebellion.
Mm.
We're only hearing about maybe three rebellions in that plane of existence, mind you. Lucifer did one. Azazel did one. You see what I'm saying? Like who else? Mianaka, Antra. So that's that's the energy we're dealing with. You feel me? So this is who they are. So when we're looking at these things, when we're looking at these people, no, it's okay, it's okay. So when we studying these people, when we're looking at these people, we're looking at them from a perspective like, They already been here. They're looking at it like they're going through it. This is their trial. So now this is from the voice of Yeshua. He's writing this down. It's his responsibility to go tell these people, like, look, y'all, I just need the remnant to get up out of here. Because for the most part, remember he said we had unclean heart, unclean ear, meaning we were just spitting out poison in everything we did. We didn't even. There was a point where it's further down. I think it's in Matthew or Luke or John. Forgive me for not getting it right. Where Yahshua goes out there and he goes now, mind you, he's going to get the Gentiles, right? And he runs into a lady, and she's at the well, and she's like, "Why are you talking to me? Because y'all don't talk to us. We're not. You don't even recognize us no more. We're dirty. We're ugly. Remember the people we talked about? Like to the Most High, we're probably the most beautiful being, but like some of us is just too dirty, too stink. He has to get away from us. For some of us, there are the remnant, and be in that. Be proud of that. The Most High chose you, but also don't pride. Don't use pride to say, "Oh, it's all because of me," because that's what happened to Ephraim. And they forgot what. Okay, now it's because of me. Now we can fool you, Superman. So now, hey, you like Iron Man, like Wonder Woman, like we got these gods here. They're similar to your God, right? The God of Israel. He's just of Israel. He's not of all of us. So you've been to Aram. We got a different God, yo. That's Zeus. Zeus is powerful. It's not like your God, but he does this, he does that. Oh, that's cool. But you have a Zeus statue. Hey, no problem. Now you guys can start to understand it. Like I got these beautiful children. They don't want to behave. They're stiff necked people, hard headed. On to the next, gentlemen. On to the next. So now we have 21, exactly 7 per person. No one considered the least. That's a beautiful number. 777.
Sheesh.
You feel me? Yeah, hell.
But there is no gloom upon her who is distressed, as when at first he humbled the land, as when at first he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea, beyond the Yarden, in Galil of the nations. The people who were walking in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death a light has shone. You shall increase the nation. You shall make its joy great. They shall rejoice before you, as in the joy of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For when for you shall break the yoke of his burden, and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every boot of one trampling in tumult, and coat rolled in blood, shall be used for burning and fuel of fire.
Mm,
For a child is born unto us, a son is given unto us, as the rule is on his shoulder, and his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace.
mm,
Of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end, upon the throne of Dawid and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now on, even forever. The adore of Yahweh of hosts does this.
Yahweh sent a word against Jacob, and it has fallen on Israel. People
mm.
shall know, all of them. Ephraim, and the inhabitant of Shamron, who say in pride and greatness of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we rebuilt with boomstones. The sycamore are cut down, but we replace them with cedars. And Yahweh set up adversaries of Retzin against him, stirred up his enemies, Arameans before the Philistines behind the owls, the Arameans before and the Philistines behind. And they devour Israel with an open mouth, with all his displeasure is not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out.
Mm.
And the people have not turned back into him, strikes them, nor have they sought Yahweh of hosts. And Yahweh cuts off head and tail from Israel, palm branch and reed in one day.
Elder and highly respected, he is the head. The prophet who teaches falsehood, he's the tail. For the leaders of his people lead them astray. Those who are guided by them are swallowed up. Therefore, Yahweh does not rejoice over the young men who has no compassion for the fatherless and widows. But when everyone is defiled and evil, and every mouth speaks foolishness. With all his displeasure, with all his displeasure has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. For the wrongness burns as the fire. It consumes storm bushes and weeds, and sets the bushes of the forest ablaze, and they roll up like rising smoke. And the land shall be burned up by the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and the people is fueled to the fire. And a man shall not spare his brother, and cut down on the right hand shall be hungry, and he shall devour on the left hand, but shall not be satisfied each one, devouring the flesh of his own arm. Menashe, Ephraim, Menashe, together they are against Yehuda. But all is this, his displeasure is not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. Mm, mm, mm. That touched me, yo. I'm gonna chime in a bit.
Well, I had to highlight verse 6 because that's I think that's I forgot what it's called, but like something that's gonna come up in the future.
A prophecy?
Foreshadowing?
Yeah, that both
Foreshadow.
of those.
Yes, sir.
It was like, for a child is born unto us, a son is
Mm,
given unto us, and the rule is
mm,
on his shoulder,
mm,
and his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El,
mm,
Father of Continuity, and
mm,
Prince of Peace.
mm.
I don't
If you
know
keep going to seven, do seven too, big. Do seven too, because it connects. Mind you, these people take it apart. It connects. Keep going.
of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end
Hmm.
upon the throne of Dawid and over his reign to
Upon the throne of
establish
who?
Dawid
There you go. Mm-hmm.
and over his reign to establish it and sustain it with right ruling and with righteousness from now on, even forever. The adorer of Yahweh of hosts does this.
So, as it stands, when you take all the spookiness out, you see what I'm saying, guys? When you take all the spookiness, ooh, the throne and the high, and you cut all this heavenly thing, and you keep it simple. We can oversimplify things, right, and make life difficult. You guys were meant to fall apart. We're gonna send a child to come get you. Ephraim and Manasseh. Manasseh and Ephraim, y'all the same foolishness. Y'all took this all the way down to the doors of Naphtali. Y'all took it into their land. These Armenians, right? Because they're still Armenians, guys. These that would could be called like Babylonians or Iranians, right? They're feeding you with these spiritual BS that you don't need to eat. So you're gonna eat your own arm and not be satisfied. You're gonna kill yourself.
Devouring the flesh of his own arm.
They're talking about the spiritual body of the Most High. And let's be clear, we can't just enter that. Let's be clear, we as children, but we can't just enter that. We need to connect to that child, that house of Dawid, that kingdom, Yahshua, Emmanuel, Wonder, our counselor, the strong L, the father. They mind you, they didn't say Yahweh Jr. They didn't say
Hmm.
little Yahweh on the half height. The strong L, meaning like he's still a deity. He's the father. He's our lead, Prince of Peace, and he walked that walk.
Like Dawid.
They are scared of you. Satan is scared of this. This makes him nervous, y'all. He would rather us not do this. He's like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Can you give him something? Look, I know the pervy sage over there. He's gonna want women. So can you send him a woman on Saturday? You know, listen. Listen, I know, I know the Sasuke of the group, the uh, the uh, the princely king of the crew. I know he likes to burn. I know he likes to fly a kite. Can we just have it so where his friends come that day and want to fly kites immediately? Yo, man, I know the young king over there. You know what I'm saying? With the intelligence to match of Solomon almost, right? I know, his mom. That's so. Let's just send his mom to break that up. Let's just do that one time. If we could just get him a week away from it, we win. This makes Shaitan nervous because like yo, if it's one on one, let's be clear. I've camped out in the wilderness. I walked barefooted in the desert. If it was just one on one, mano a mano, man, Shaitan will wipe the floor with us. All of it. We could put 100 people up. We could we could times the inhabitants of Earth throughout time 100 times. We still can't touch them. But through the blood, we could crush them. There's a book of Bartholomew. Once I get stronger, I mean, Bartholomew is putting his hands on Shaitan's head, on his neck, bro. We can't do this on our own. We wasn't built for that. That's why the Most High gave. He had to slaughter something to give Adam and Eve a tunic, the clothing, the protection, because what they had was not going to protect them, even in the wilderness. Just like for us going into outer space, right? We can't go without spacesuit. This is our spacesuit. We're in this space, and this is what we got to defend. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's happening internally. The war's raging inside, and at the same time outside. And you just got to balance between the both. That's like being in the waters of the waters, being in the being in the ocean, on a boat, in a pool. But the waters is the nation. Waters is us. It's the people. We're the ocean. So we gotta fight inside and out. Shoot.
I'm still sucking up the information.
I'm sorry, sir.
So I'm still sucking up the information.
You hears can hear. Those are knows for knows. All right. remember, guys. Remember, guys. All right. Because it comes in cycles. So this is Yeshayahu. I cannot pronounce. Forgive me, I'm from Yeshayahu, Isaiah, coming to his people or getting the instructions and having the sight, having the understanding, receiving that code, then giving that seed, planting that seed, right? given that light, now he has to go to his people and attempt to go talk to them now that he knows this. All right. And mind you, come on, y'all, if you ever go to your group of friends and you came up from them, that's why sometimes it's hard, like in the military, in the army. One of the hardest things you could do is get promoted within your unit. The people that saw you as a private, now they got to see you as a sergeant. It's
Mm.
tough. That's tough. So he's going back. He's telling people Yahshua's coming. Like, yo, don't lose hope. Don't give up. Forever's forever. You guys are living a short period of time. Matter of fact, we're weekends. We're weaker now, and we live less lives. Our years are numbered. We could easily get into the hundreds back in the way. Now, not so much.
Yeah.
But mind you, you hearing in Kings like, okay, you're starting to see, okay, yeah, you know what, Saul, David, that era, yeah, we're not gonna let you live around that long. You guys, yeah, you guys are special. You guys are different. We're gonna get back to the forever part because that's what we're gonna start. That's what Adam was supposed to start. That fruit, it started killing him from the inside. All right, got 34 of these things. So two people will have 11. One people will have 12. One people will have 12. Don't listen to me. One person would have 12. One people would have 12. We all want people. All right, big. Think we know what you got.
What, 13?
Yes, sir. No, 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 big. It's 34. So two people will have 11. One person will have 12. That
Oh,
makes
yeah, I'm
sense?
hip.
Okay.
I said 13 because 12 is ugly. It's like, nah, it's just a number, guys. It's
It's
just a
just a
number.
number. Just a number.
Woe to those making unrighteous inscriptions, and writers who have prescribed toil,
Mm.
to keep the needy back from right ruling, and to take what is right from the poor of my people, that widows become their prey, and orphans their plunder. What shall you do in the day of visitation, and in the ruin which comes from afar? To whom would you run for help, and where would you leave your wealth?
Hmm.
Without me they shall bow down among the prisoners, and fall among the killed. With all his displeasure has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out.
Mm.
Woe to Ashur, the rod of my displeasure, and the staff in whose hand is my displeasure. Excuse me. Against the defiled nation I send him, and against the people of my wrath I command him to seize the spoil, to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mud of the streets. But he does not intend so, nor does his heart think so. For it is in his heart to destroy and cut off not a few nations. For he says, are not my princes sovereigns? Is not Calno like Carchemish? Is not Hamath like Arpad? Is not Shamaron like Damasek? As my hand has found the reins of the idols whose carved images excelled those of Jerusalem and Shamaron, as I have done to Shamaron and her idols, do I not do also to Jerusalem and her idols? And it shall be, when Yahweh has performed all his work on Mount Sion and on Jerusalem, that I shall punish the fruit of greatness of the heart of the sovereign of Ashur, and the boasting of his haughty looks.
He has
Take it
said,
away. Go ahead,
uh,
Killer Pro.
Eh,
Sorry, Q. You had that coming. One day I'm
I
gonna get you. One
knew
day
it. I knew it.
Yeah, you got on my nephew, man. I was still feeling some kind of way about that.
For, for he has said, "By the power of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I have been clever, and I removed the boundaries of the people, and I have robbed their treasuries, and I put down their inhabitants like a strong one. And my hand finds the riches of the people like a nest, and I have gathered all the earth like forsaken eggs are gathered. And there was no one who moved his wing, nor opened his mouth with even a peep. Would the axe boast itself over him who chops with it, or the salt exalt itself over him who saws with it? Is a rod waving those who lift it up, as a staff lifting up that which is not wood? Therefore the Master, Yahweh of hosts, sends leanness among his fat ones, and under his esteem he kindles a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and a set apart one for a flame. And he shall burn and devour his weeds, and his thorn bushes in one day, and consume the esteem of his forest, and of his fertile field, both life and flesh. And they shall be as when a sick man wastes away, and when the remaining trees of his forest shall be few in numbers, so few in number that a child records them. And in that day it shall be that the remnant of Israel and those who have escaped from the house of Jacob never again lean upon him who struck them, shall lean upon Yahweh, the set apart one of Israel, in truth. A remnant shall return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty El. For though your people, O Israel, as be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, a decisive end, overflowing with righteousness. For the Master Yahweh of hosts is making a complete end, as decided, in the midst of all the earth.
Therefore, thus says the Master Yahweh of hosts, my people who dwell in Zion, be not afraid of Yeshua, who struck you with a rod and lift up his staff against you in the way of Mizraim. For yet a little while the displeasure shall be completed, and my displeasure be to their destruction. And Yahweh of hosts stirred up a lashing for him as the smiting of Midian and the rocks of Oreb, and as his rod was on the sea. So he shall lift up in the way of Mizraim. And in that day shall be his burden is removed from your shoulders, and his yoke from your neck. And your yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointed oil, the anointing oil. He has come up to Ai, and he has passed over Mithagron and Milkmash. He stored his supplies. They have gone through the pass. They have taken up the lodging at Gilba. Ramah is afraid. Gilha, Gilbaha, Gilba of Saul has fled. Lift up your voice, O daughters of Galim. Listen, Lashai, O poor Anoth. Medium Man Madmenash has fled. The inhabitants of Gibeon sought refuge. Yet he remains at Nam that day. And he shake his fist at the mountains of the daughter of Sion, at the hills of Yerushalayim. Look, the master Yahweh of hosts is looping off a branch with an awesome crash. And the tall ones are cut down, and the lofty ones are laid low. And he shall count down the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon shall fall as a mighty one. Oh, there's a lot of symbolism in this. Any of this thing y'all picked up? A lot of symbolism.
Yahweh's hand is still stretched out.
Dope, you took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, that was my checklist. One of mine. Yeah, that was my biggest one.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like, I know I'm fucking up the information still.
But you see how this is like. I'm asking you all that reads this, right? Like, for instance, let's say there was more of us. Let's say we was all brothers and sisters, right? And it's like, look, mommy and daddy left us instructions. Some of the instructions was written down. Some of the instructions was told directly to some of us. Some of the instructions is actually hidden.
Mm.
The ones that they told it, right, and it fell on deaf ears, and they just still did what they wanted to, and defiled nations will hold on to you, bro. Come on, King. The ones that read it and still like, it's just a book. Hey, it's just like comic book. Oh, I got these other things. Guy, don't be too smart. You're stupid. All right.
Mm.
Then there's the other ones that they're just being led, and you guys are super wrong because you're taking these people down a path that without your stupidity, like if we wasn't marketing LGBT, come on, guys, you think you guys would care? Your generation would care? Let's be clear. Somebody's marketing that. And somebody's
Mm.
sitting there like, man, I'm not LGBT, but man, there's money in this. Let me just go out there do an LGBT commercial.
Facts.
Right? Like they can still be one of us. But they're like, look, there's money in creating these pride parades, right? There's money. Like we have to be mindful where we're at. That's why it's like stay focused on the day and time that you're in. Because he's coming like a thief in the night. And if you don't have all these the candle, the anointed oil, right? Your candle burning, that's a symbol. We each of us are have that anointed oil that we can fuel up. Each of us are a candle with the wick and the light and the oil. We can keep that. Like what we're doing now is keeping that anointed oil going. Or we could lose it. Can you imagine a world we'd be like, you know what, guys? Hey, I think we know enough of scripture. We're good. We say that next Saturday. Like, hey, guys, I think we learned everything we need to learn. We're good. We would still be running with our own notion, our own thoughts, right? And because the brain is so powerful, the last image, the last water that they put in our cup, that they put in our mental mind, our mental picture, will be the prevailing thought at that time. So now, what's that even mean? Hey, there's a new movie called Doctor Strange coming out, right? It's dope. You know, but you know there'll be people that come out that movie and think, man, in the metaverse, in the other verse, maybe I was a cow in another verse. Well, maybe in the other metaverse, I was the greatest king, right? Wait a minute. That's not of the Most High. What are you doing? And the crazy thing, Big, you pointed out, and this is the part that I damn near cried. That stretched our arm, and it makes me cry because like y'all know the story between Uncle Marvin and myself. But you know, to this day, I think if he calls me to this day, I will reach out to him, hug him with my stretched out arm. I will grab him and pull him to me. I probably would cry on his neck. And this is somebody that did me dirty. Y'all saw him do me dirty.
Yeah.
But that's how now. So I can, and that's Marvin. That's corny Uncle Marvin. Same thing for Uncle Jonesy. Same thing for you guys. And I mean, like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, I could count in my hands how many times I had beefs with you guys, arguments, or even spanking, whatever the case may be. So you guys are different. You're the peaceful side of this whole crew. But the T Gregs, the Uncle Gregs that's out there, you mean to tell me if we found a way to save them, we wouldn't go get them?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like if we had a ship to put a rocket ship to put our people in to take them to the next place, or a boat to put them, a car, a plane, we wouldn't even go get. We wouldn't even say, yo, T Greg, let me send you at least send you a text. Or we us three wouldn't be like, yo, it's T Greg. One of us wouldn't be like, yo, it's T Greg. Yo, it's Butter. Who got eyes on glitch? So I, every time I read scripture, I'm like, I'm in awe how beautiful this creature, that this being is, because we're creators. Our creator is. Because with all of this going on, all of that going on, mind you, y'all, it's generations. It's not like, okay, like Mima to me was one generation. Me to you is another generation. You know, with us as kids. So I just want y'all to think about like that. These are generations upon generations upon generations running out with this craziness.
And Yahweh still
Mm.
keeps his promise.
Thank you. Thank you. He
You're
still
welcome.
got his arms stretched out.
Like,
He could have flooded the world 17 times.
And 7 times over. And this is how much that's why I'm like, yo, I don't even know, like, I want to respect men. I like to, but like when you put the most high's barometer, he said, I'm not gonna do it. He repented. So that means he was remorseful. He had emotions. He's a jealous being. So understand he's emotional. So we shouldn't be trying to hide our emotions, to be fair. We're not robots, to be fair. We just need to process through it. You know what I'm saying? And still be
you just
knowledgeable of
need to
who we
control them.
are. Exactly. But he said it. He's like, you know what? I am not gonna flood the world again. Oh, y'all gonna see fire. I'm not flooding it again. And yo, you know what's crazy? On a small level, some of these devils is getting that fire every time we spit, every time we rap, every time we talk about the word, the double-edged sword. They're
Yeah,
getting
they're
that
even trying
fire.
to make us hate the rainbow.
Thank you. They took. Thank. Good catch, man.
Yeah.
Good catch. They took. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wear my colors. That's the most high colors, pastel colors. I'm wearing it.
Yeah, I had to
The
catch
most high.
myself.
Yeah, that they don't belong to y'all. That's like
He's
Yasharal
hot.
don't belong to y'all. Israel don't belong to them. The people that's there. Think about what's going on in real life. It's people pretending to be you.
Yeah.
But wait, you saying here? Wait till you see what I'm talking about. They're called Ashkenazis Jews. They came from someplace and landed there.
Yeah,
Kick
I
you out
already
of there.
seen people try to be like Pooh in games.
So now you the black sheep. No, you're the man. You're the salt of the earth. But don't lose your flavor. That's not even an order, gentlemen. That's a request.
Mm.
So now here goes, right? Because this is what got me thinking about like it repeats itself. You're gonna find a lot of parallels with what's going on in Egypt, right? In Misraim, excuse me. What happened to them in Misraim? You're gonna find a lot of parallels with what
Oh
happened to
wait,
them in
wait, what,
Canada.
what, what? I just remembered, like
Talk to
when you said history repeats itself.
me. Mm-hmm.
Only because Yahweh made that promise is why His hand is still stretched out for the
Thank
people
you.
that still care.
So that's what I'm like. I used to worry about if I was gonna get in or not. Now that I'm reading it, I'm like, we just gonna walk right in there because there's people that's not even looking to do it.
Yeah. Like, dang, I thought I was bad.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even my boss at my job, he was like, only a few people are gonna be chosen to go into Yahweh's land. So why why would I even care? I'm like, huh? How do you know
Hey,
you're not chosen? Why would you
perfect.
just quit like that? Even
More
if it
space
was
for
like
us.
that.
He said more room for. Hey, I hate to say it, I hate to agree, but that's what it is. It's a feast, and those of us that's gonna be there, gonna like. Have you guys ever been to a party? Like, ever been to a party, right? And having a great time, right? I don't even care if it's a Xbox party. Let's keep it simple. Have you ever been to a party and been like, man, what about such and such? Or these guys I don't even know. No, you're having a good time in the party. At some point, we will all be getting together and we will be talking about our experiences. Like, yo, man, these person didn't believe because all of us are gonna have pretty much same but different story. Same but different story. It's going to be, hey, people didn't believe us. They scoffed at us. They laughed at us. They hated on us. And we're going to take turns and listen to those stories. That's what's going to bind us. When Yahshua was in front of the church, they was like, yo, your mom and dad is outside. I mean, your mom and your brothers and sisters outside. It's like, no, my people's are here. If they my mom and my brothers and sisters, they'll be in here too.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's gonna be a point where yo, we can petition all we want to. There's gonna be a point we gotta focus on us in that part. And the people in that part. Because it's not fair for the people there. It's not fair for you. Everybody happy, you sitting there crying. Crying for what? Because these people had an opportunity and they never took it. That's not your fault. And don't start letting that divide your heart or divide what you understand. Or start breaking away. Like, well, then you're going to start thinking, man, is the Most High cruel? He's wicked. Because there's a thought process. There's a thought pattern. Lucifer started a pattern. He was like, well, why can't it be me? It's these little questions. Man, I wish I could play Halo like Big. What's that start? Starts jealousy. Big think he could, because he can get all the kills, man. If I had a new Xbox, like he did, if I had a new headset, man, that's how your boss is talking. Most already don't like me. Why are you saying that? Because you already know what you are. Inside, we already know what we are. We just don't. For example, I'm getting ahead of myself in the story, but remember, this is a time machine. Go forward or back. We're in this point before the first capture. So, but mind you, going into the future, Yahshua's walking back on water to get to the boat. Peter gets off the boat. I say, Yahshua, and starts walking. Once he realizes what he's doing, he starts to drown. There's going to be a point, guys. Big, you guys know it's like a zone. Guys going to be in the zone. Moabs, this and that. Like sometimes, I can see the thought process, and I'm like, yo, how you getting these? I can see you have to come out of the zone to explain to me and find the words to tell me how to do that. Because the zone is not English. The zone is not Spanish. It's not French, Portuguese, German. The zone is a state of being where English won't even matter. Right? So for now, for you to have to explain to me, you have to kind of come down off of this. And you walking on water. You have to come down and get, because I'm drowning in that knowledge of not knowing. So what, you get me out. Put me back on the boat. Kind of laughing like, silly old man. All you have to do is press this button. Yo, Big, I swear to you. A most high moment. Like me and Uncle Jones be saying that now. A most high moment. Most high moment. And this is simple. So I'm like, man, I come to my son. Come to my beloved. I'm like, man, it's hard for me to get these final 5 kills. Guess why I'm overthinking? I'm drowning in knowledge. I'm drowning in knowledge, y'all. Think about it. I know too much. I'm like, man, I got to do this, do that. Who was like, yo, mind you, I got all the way up to these numbers, not thinking about it. But the moment I start focusing on it, I'm drowning.
Facts.
Who's like, yo, daddy, listen, I'm going to give you a hack. Right? Come on, Pervy Sage. You don't have to get all the kills with the weapon, just the final ones. So you can grenade, you can this, and then the last one could be what you done. Oh, I swear to you, maybe 4. Well, how many games was this, Shoot? I don't want to tell the story. Maybe 4 or 5 games later, I crushed it. While he was on it, I was like, got it.
Yeah.
So you could actually be drowning in knowledge. These people couldn't cast out demons because they were overthinking it. There's a way, guys. We're going to get in that way. Even in the Art of War, they talk about a way. Samson, they talk about a way. Like when the mathematics won't matter no more. Shoot, I did the numbers most high moment. I was like, okay, I did these numbers. He was like, wait a minute, daddy. And I was as soon as you said it, I was like, wait, wait, wait,
Are
remember
you
back in the
thinking
y'all
right
saw
now?
me back in the
It's like,
day.
For real
Y'all
though.
would have saw me. Wait, say it again. Say it again.
I said, are you thinking right now? What are you doing?
You're not supposed to be
That's
thinking.
the point.
You're supposed to be just doing.
That's, yeah, I hit it right on the nose. There's going to be a point where you don't even think about it. You overthink it.
Yeah.
Uncle Jones, Uncle Jones, most high moment. Now he's not even thinking about it no more. Like I'm not trying to show off, right? He's sitting. He's a witness. He used to think about talking to women, like from the talking to them, what to say, and he used to bap. I'm like, Jonesy, just be you. Just have fun with it. But when you
Talk to him like you're talking to a normal human being.
drowning in knowledge,
Yeah.
so we can actually drown in knowledge with scripture. Oh, we know too much. There's things that we just overlooked and read that it has meaning. Like when he's talking about
Mm.
the Mount of Zion and on the Mount of Jerusalem, those are kings. The mount is the highest point. The Most High sits on mountains. He only talked to kings. He
Mm.
talked to priests and kings. When he's talking about Shamaron, he's talking about countries, peoples, mentalities. Because remember, each country, each city state had its own deity, its own spirit. Just like how people like, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Cancer. You now become a state of Taurus. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Everybody that's a tourist now identify with all the tourists is. Hey, we're a state. We're like, we can't talk to cancers. We don't date cancer. But before you knew about all this star BS, the woman that you probably loved could have been a cancer. Your
Yeah.
best friend. But now that you're in the state of Libra, oh man, we can only hang out with Libras, man. No, man, come on, man. It's all games. It's not on the most high. But Shamaron had his own people. If you wanted to be like, let's say Shamaron was Pisces. If you wanted to be under the sign of Pisces, guess what? You go to Shamaron. They'll have a church of Pisces. They'll build a Hiyakal. They'll build a temple. And, oh, you can worship Pisces, right?
Mm.
Jerusalem. Like right now, they about to make United States a place where it's just gonna be LGBT. Like, well, we just like bending over. I guess I don't know. But that to me is a lot of Luciferian thing right there. Anything that's not on the Most High is Luciferian to me. And I don't got no problem saying that. And I tell a person to their face, you sound like a Luciferian. You do. Because I'm not saying that out of malice. Because I have knowledge. I'm not drowning in the knowledge anymore. I don't have to
Mm.
battle people anymore with scripture. Because guess what? I was battling people big, and this is more for you, for your freestyles, right? I was battling people because I was more insecure in my knowledge. I was drowning in it. So when we're
I was
reading
born in knowledge, molded by it.
so when we're reading these, let's not be too smart for these words. Like, let's take the time. Let's do our own detective work. We're reading it together, but like the army, how you say ARMA, um, Aram, that are Armenians. Like now, in the ninth verse, right, in the Yeshayahu 10th chapter, in the ninth verse, right, is not Kalno like Karimesh. I gotta go study what these are because there's an Easter egg in every one of these.
Mm.
Man, my biggest Easter egg is when Yahweh is already in spiritual war and humans just get in the middle of it.
I think to add on, right? Because let's be clear, this is Adam. He's not in no war. It's just people that despise him or beings that hate him, or just fear him. He's not in the war. Like he could wipe anything out. Like I don't think it's even fair. He can start all over if he wants to. So it's not a war. It's not a battle. Right now, to me, to add on what you're saying, the battle is for us. Yahshua is like a scepter, like what he will hold, like physical embodiment of a scepter. We are under, as human beings created on this plane of existence, we have been, we are made in his image, right? Because there's probably up this, I don't want to scare you, right? But don't be surprised if we make it to the kingdom and there's other beings there, meaning that a son of man, we're going to be this. Example, like Voltron or Star Wars, right? This is humans. But like, imagine Most High in another plane of existence created dog people, like people that could walk and talk things like us, or frog people. I don't know. We can't handle this knowledge. We're drowning in this. That right there, oh my God, it'd be too much, right? So I'll leave y'all with this. We just need to get our hearts prepared. We just need to get our house prepared. We need to be walking around with our spiritual armor at all times and understand what each part of that armor means to us.
Mm.
We can't just be like, yo, this, that, third. No, like, okay. Because the more you understand what you have, the better you're able to use it. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's like saying, hey, what's this button do? Oh, you used it. Oh, man, that was the one time I had a chance to throw that bomb. Or, you know what I'm saying? That was it. Okay, now I know what that bomb button is, that grenade button is. We need to know every part of our armor, have an intimate relationship, even with our armor, because it's protecting us. And the biggest thing
Mm.
about that, right, is understanding when they talk about the blood of Yahshua. I used to think about, man, we sound like cannibals. No, it's really connected to that lamb that had to sacrifice itself, and the look that it gave the Most High, the look that it gave Adam, in order to
Mm.
to protect Adam and Eve, because you took that and now you lost the shield of protection. That's the armor we need to focus on.
Mm.
Gentlemen, with that being said, that's my time. That's my
Yes,
time.
sir.
This was powerful. I love this one. I love this one. This one's a good one for the books, big. What we
Facts.
got? What we recorded. This one was powerful. And as we get more knowledgeable, we'll get better. And the people that hear it, yo, big, you know what you're doing right now? You're the scribe of our time. Like, understand what the Most High is doing, and like when he say this thing is cycling through again, big. Every mistake we made in our conversation, reading the book wrong, somebody's gonna hear it. The next generation will hear that.
Mm.
So somebody did that back then. Like, yo, we gotta do this for no, we gotta make sure that they know. And they're surfing in the knowledge instead of drowning in the knowledge.
Mm.
Mm.
That's powerful.
Yeah. Powerful stuff, gentlemen. Powerful stuff. I'm out to hop off, gentlemen. I love y'all. This was dope.
Love you too.
Later, sir. Stay safe.
All
Later,
right.
love y'all.
Yeah,
All
later.
right. I'll tell the guys.